Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Black Legacy, Black Minds. We're here to inform you today about everything that's going on in tech. And today we have with us always my co-host, Dr. Mario Wallace of All Things Strategic. Welcome back.
It's always great to be here. It's always great to share information and provide new ideas in this age of the AI economy. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and real quick, I just thought about it. I meant to ask you about this earlier. Do you think that AI and Bitcoin will work hand in hand in some kind of way?
I think there's definitely a conversion between the two, given that Bitcoin is on a blockchain and the way we use AI today, we tend to integrate AI into all decision making from a intelligence and cognitive perspective. So people will be able to, from an investment perspective, they will be able to use AI to help them to determine which Bitcoin to invest in. And from a blockchain perspective, it will help those who develop the blockchain and Bitcoins. Like Ye, Kanye West came out with his
I saw
Bitcoin
that.
yesterday. It would help those developers code and develop new ways to present and offer Bitcoins uh, to investors. So I definitely see the
Yeah.
connection.
Didn't I think Trump came out with one too, didn't he? Some kind of Bitcoin accessory or something, right?
Yeah, Trump has his own Bitcoin. His wife has her own Bitcoin, uh, and it's doing fairly well at this point. I think he made over 3 billion in as far as money collected for his Bitcoin so far. Kanye West made over 3 billion in 24 hours. But from what I saw, his Bitcoin plummeted.
Yes.
Uh,
So I'm glad I didn't sign up right away. I guess if I would have jumped in at 12 midnight and then jumped out at 12:05, I could have really made a return on that really quick.
could have made a great return. But if you held on to it, I saw where people, it's broken up into different categories. Some people lost $500, some people lost 2 or 3 thousand, but then there's a category of 10 to 100,000, and I think there was over 60 people that lost between 10 and 300,000.
Wow. Now that's their own money, or is that what they gained and then lost?
I don't know. I don't know for sure, but it's listed as losses.
Yeah. Wow. And this weekend I believe Invest Fest is going on. And I thought that would be a good way to start this out is asking about you weren't prepared for it, so I'm glad that you had a little knowledge on it. Because I said nothing to you about that earlier today. So I thought that was pretty cool that you were ready for it either way. And that's part of being strategic, sponsored by All Things Strategic here. Our podcast, and we really appreciate the great people at All Things Strategic. And where can they find all your information at, Mario?
Well, my website is allthingsstrategic.org. And to email me is info at allthingsstrategic.org. But you can also find me on LinkedIn, Facebook,
Yeah,
um,
that's the easiest way, I think, right?
Instagram. Yeah,
And TikTok. Don't
and
forget TikTok.
TikTok. In TikTok, there's a lot of content on TikTok. I have a lot of videos, but TikTok is more focused on history.
Yes. And so you are a great historian because you travel to find a lot of information. Now you were here in St. Louis and told me about some things here in St. Louis that I had no clue about with those mounds,
I think it's the
the pyramid,
Cahokia. Is it called the Cahokia Mounds?
the Cahokia Mounds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was very enlightening. It's a great place to go. And after you mentioned it, I remember going in grade school.
Mhm. I can imagine that most of you all in that area actually visited the Cahokia Mounds. Uh, but it's from my history perspective, I tend to look for history that has either been edited out of through an editorial process out of our history,
Hmm.
or just not talked about or just unknown. So it's like, how do I continue to highlight history that most people are not aware of?
And before we get into today, I want to just go a little deeper into that because I saw they were starting to take the some of the slavery history out of the history books. And so, like, how, I started thinking, like, well, how will people know their real heritage and their real ancestorship if they do that? Right. And so we're going to jump into what we came here to talk about. But that, you being a historian, you're taking on that responsibility to continue on the tradition of our own people learning about their heritage and their history and their ancestors.
Yeah, I think today, based on the administration going throughout the Smithsonian and all the museums today, and our history books, right? History has been rewritten in our books. We call it erasure of history. If we erase history, we don't know the past. If we don't know the past, we don't know the present.
Where
We
we're
don't
going.
know the future, right? If we look at Native American history in the United States, if we erased that they ever possessed and were the owners of North America, and that only the United States or European colonies possessed this country, we will never know about Native American history. So if we take, according to the way it's presented today, according to the administration, slaves benefited from, the Africans benefited from slavery. That's the new history. When we know that they did not benefit, and it's not like Africans were savages when Europeans went to Africa. When they
Right.
went to Africa, they went and they specifically identified the most talented and skilled technicians for farming. The first generation of Africans who was brought to America, and they brought them here to establish this country. So uh, there was no true benefit of Africans being captured and brought to the United States.
Exactly. Or sold or, whatever the.
Yes, yes.
Um, but we're here to talk about AI. And in particular, the different chat boxes and servers that can help you currently with what you have going on in your life. And when I say you, I mean the people watching, because there's
Right,
several different servers out there, and the most popular, obviously, is Chat GPT. Is the one that everybody is going to currently actually overtaking Google at least 1 month this year
that's right.
on users. So that's a telltale that AI has totally integrated into our own minds because now people are starting to use that as a go-to for information. But there's other chat boxes and there's other venues you can go down that will help you better. And I know you have a list of them because I know you well.
Yes.
So what if you can put the three top ones uh, that that would work best for like the three top jobs, what would you say? I know chat will probably be one.
Chat Chat GPT, which is Open AI, um, Claude, with this, which is an tropic technology, and I don't know if I will put between Gemini and Grok, which Grok is Gemini is Google's version of a chat box,
Correct.
artificial intelligence chat box, and Grok is Elon Musk version of a chat box. So I don't know. Maybe we have to say the top four.
So
Right.
I'll actually will put Grok over Gemini because I don't think a lot of I just started using Gemini since me and you started these
Okay. Okay.
conversations. So like when I go to Google to look up something, Gemini now is the first thing that pops up and it's called an AI overview.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so then if you want the AI overview, you have to click see more.
You have to see. Okay.
Otherwise, you can just slide by it and go to your regular Google uh, user.
Hmm. Hmm.
So But I think with Grok, that's more of a personalized and specialized AI chat box that um, Elon Musk is using for like highly educated people.
Yeah. According to Elon, it's smarter than all. If you had a room full of PhDs, it would be smarter than all the PhDs collected. Grok is more a reasoning technology, scientific reasoning technology. According to Elon, to be able to find in the future, this chatbot will be able to help to identify and find medical cures for some things that we've been conducting research on for over 30 years. It will be able to provide those answers for medical professionals, researchers, computer scientists. As it relates to Chat GPT, uh, there are some coding applications in which you can ask it, uh, such as Python coding, but it's mainly for text, a text to text. You type in some information, you get a response. Visual, being able to create visual, and as well as audio.
Mm.
Claude is more text driven, less about visuals, but more about text. When it comes to visuals with Claude, uh, it analyzes different visual applications, right? So Claude is more for educators, for teachers. It's a communication design technology, so it provides the best form of communication when you think of developing a syllabus or a curriculum or classroom education, things like that. It really helps to build out those things in a unique and effective way, uh, with high levels of productivity. But there's also, so here's the thing: we have both proprietary and open sourced. And when you think of proprietary, these are technologies or chat boxes like Gemini, um, Chat GPT. They're designed in Grok. Those have subscription. Those are subscription based technologies. Although there is a free application, and most people use the free application, but there's a whole lot of people are paying for subscriptions, $10, $15, $20, and enterprise packages, right? So those technologies have more memory stored, and I think we talked about it earlier. Is that um, if you use those technologies, you may recognize that it can remember content that you asked it earlier or a week before, and you're able to uh,
Go back.
connect, go back and connect to that same memory and ask it to draft out something else. It's because memory are in more proprietary technology versus open source, meaning they're paying for the memory and the storage. It
Yeah.
is not human cognitive memory, it's technology coding memory that we're experiencing. So we cannot look at these chat box as having human intelligence. It's
Right.
all the information is aligned to some type of existing source. Thus, when you use those, you can definitely get a lot of memory. When you use a lot of the open source technologies like Yammer, Meta, which is from uh, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, the Yammer.
And that's the one I haven't had a chance to even do any history lesson on that right now, the meta one. Uh, and so like that's more tied into Facebook from what I understand, right?
It's tied into Facebook, but it's an open source. So any Facebook product, but it's an open source technology, meaning if you wanted to develop your own large language model, if you wanted to develop your own chat box,
Hmm.
you can download the Yammer technology since it's open source. There is no cost to it, and you can build out. You can tie it to your own server where your information is not being saved on like a Chat GPT. That information is proprietary, so it's saved on their servers. You can develop your own server, or you can link your own server to Yammer, where the things that you're asking and seeking and querying for information, all the responses and all your queries go into your own server. So it's never stored. in some cloud-based server that you don't have connections to. You can preserve and protect the information that you're using in open source models.
Okay. So in saying that, Grok, is it the same way?
Grok is proprietary.
Okay. And so when you say proprietary, just for the listeners there, what break that down for us, the difference between proprietary and non.
In open source. So proprietary is owned by the company. There is no way that you can build onto that particular technology. All uh, the information, the coding is controlled. It's in a controlled environment. It's controlled. So all the copyrights, the trade, everything that's associated with its control. Your information, your personal information that you're typing into the chat box is owned and controlled by the proprietary software such as Grok, Chat GPT, and so forth. So
So it's learning your
basically,
mind and keeping the information.
if you are publishing a book and you're using information that came from a Grok technology or Chat GPT or Gemini, if you're publishing through a publisher or just a self publishing through Amazon KDP, you have to inform that technology that a lot of the information or some of the information came from one of these chat box that is proprietary because they
Exactly.
own some of the copyrights associated with it.
Right.
If you're using the open source, you can control the information, meaning you can go in and develop your own chat box for your company and for yourself. You can build off its already existing technology. The information that you're querying, you own that information. Um, so you have more control of your intellectual property, your intellectual information. So we have to really be cognizant of open source technologies and propri- proprietary technology. We have to be very cognizant of the two, and we have to make a decision if we want our information to be owned, because as we know in the past, a lot of these tech companies are known for selling our information
Right.
and using it for marketing,
This
and there's
part.
nothing you can do because they own it.
You saw where I was going. And so that's why I asked, is because I saw that KDP asked that question on the last book I published, the sales process workbook available on Amazon. They asked me that question, and thought it was kind of weird because I was like, well, who uses AI to write a book? So then I did some research on it to figure out why it asked me that. And so I didn't realize that Amazon limits you to like 3 or 5 books a day because people are literally writing books from
Oh,
AI.
wow, wow. So it's kind of, because think about it, Amazon is proprietary as well, and if Amazon is hosting your book, it's hosting your book on a server, and it's
Yes.
taking up so much server space. So how does Amazon get paid? It get paid off certain percentages from your book sales. It
Hmm.
those data centers, those large data centers that they own, are basically server spaces. They're places where they have conditioned, air conditioned servers all throughout these particular locations, these facilities. And if you're uploading 3 to 10 to 15 books a day or whatever you're trying to do, it's taking up a lot of space. It's taking up a lot of memory and it's taking up a lot of storage. So it has to be stored somewhere. And with that said, Amazon has to be able to make a profit off your books
Yes.
because they have to pay for that storage.
Yeah. So that was very interesting to learn. And so I had no clue that people could even do that. Look, so that made me think about business plans and business structures and using AI to build a business plan and build a business structure. So all the other stuff you talked about last week on the show too, with assistants and all these chat boxes, they're learning your business. They're learning everything about you. They're learning everything about your employees. They're learning everything about your business. So, like if you have even like Copilot, right? and you integrate Outlook in there. And so now, when people are emailing through Outlook, they're going to Copilot to structure the email in a proper form based off of their idea and
Mm-hmm.
then copy and paste. Now, do they own that? Because it's learning more and more about the business.
I think in that application, I think it's more about the enterprise management solution, what the corporation paid for,
Yeah.
right? In procurement in those organizations, let me tell you, and it has is before this has even happened, right? If you're an organization, if and you get terminated, the first thing they take away is your email access,
Yes.
right?
First thing.
So and they do that to control, to protect protect the company, protect the assets of the company, so they can actually go through your email to see what information you have been communicating. If they have an enterprise solution with ChatGPT or Copilot, it depends on what their contract is with that organization on how much information is controlled by the institution. If the institution has its own IT, and its IT department has these large server facilities, they may negotiate to own 50, 60, 70% of the information. So that's the company's intellectual rights and intellectual capital that they're saving. So whatever you're doing, copy pasting, however you're doing it, all that information can go into a data pool where it creates intelligence for the company. So it depends on the negotiating contract of the company to determine how much of the information the company owns.
Right. And so that's what I'm saying. So, could it get to a point where the owners of these chat boxes own more of the percentage of the company than the owner?
Yes. I can imagine at large facilities like academic institutions like a Harvard, a Yale, Duke, Princeton, MIT. I can imagine that they will negotiate a high percent of ownership of their intellectual capital. When it comes to these smaller institutions like these small HBCUs who don't have the endowment to pay in the funding sources, especially today, since a lot of the government funding um,
It's,
has been
yeah.
taken away or stripped, they may negotiate just to have the technology. They may give away a lot of their intellectual capital.
So that's something we've never really discussed, right? And so, as we talk more about it, is there a way that a business? So, because right now businesses are probably using, all of these chat boxes to uh, help govern their business. So, in actuality, AI is starting to work for the business.
For the
As we
business.
discussed, you should do, right? You
Yes.
should be using AI, but when are you using it too much?
Some information needs to be protected, right? It's like sending information to the Library of Congress. You're sending it there to protect it. You're sending it there for copyright protection. When you're in that's ownership, right? That's your ownership. But when you're putting so much into these chat boxes, and chat boxes are helping you to generate thought, intelligence, you're basically losing um, copyright over a lot of things that you're putting into that system. So
Say you're putting it into there, right? And this is just for like small business owners. You're trying to come up with a formula or an idea to, help push your business forward. And you put it into like the chat box, right? And then it gives you an idea, but you don't use the idea. It just gives you an idea for a formula to help you push forward, right? Are you using the AI or are you using your mind and AI helps you spark the idea?
if you're using it like what you just for sparking an idea, then um, you're using it to help guide your thoughts. It's like brainstorming, coming up
Yeah,
with concepts and ideas. But then you turn around and you write something maybe similar to it where you own all the information that you wrote.
yeah.
But if you're copying and pasting it and using it word for word, that's an iffy topic right there because we don't have the necessary guardrails. Congress has not established the necessary guardrails for intellectual capital as it relates to these chatbots at this point.
And who do you cite? So like, in a book, you can cite stuff, right? Who
Yes,
do you cite for it, right? So the guardrails help you but hurt you because you
that's
can't
right.
cite
That's
it.
right. There is
Yeah.
no. What are you going to cite? Chat GPT. If you cite Chat GPT, the information that you queried may have come from a government website, may have come from a private company's website, the
Or
private
it could be a
sector,
hallucination.
and it could be a hallucination. So it can come from any source. So who do you cite?
And
Right.
so let's just explain to them what a hallucination is, just for the people that are not, tech driven. I'm not a tech driven guy. I use it for business, and you are helping me navigate through all of it. And that's sponsored by All Things Strategic.
So hallucination is when so when the chat box actually provides someone asks a query or type in information for brainstorm whatever they're doing to get from the chat box, and it provides us an answer. And the answer was even to the chat box, the answer is correct. The chat bot itself has hallucinated a response based on the deduction of information that it's pulling from. So it's pulling from information from various sources based on your request, and it puts together a thought. And the thought is not necessarily true; it's a hallucination. The chat
Hallucinate.
bot itself thinks it's true, so it's
Exactly.
providing you hallucinations. Uh, so when ChatGPT, the first version came out, it had a high percent of hallucinations. The second version, the third version, 2 weeks ago, Sam Altman, the owner of OpenAI and ChatGPT, came up with ChatGPT 5. So he
Yeah,
said that
I read
there will
that.
be a minimum of really, really small percent of hallucinations that would take place. Um, so hallucinations do exist for the common user. For the tech user has this concept called RAG, right? Retrieval augmented generation or development, uh, in which they can build a Python program with
Hmm.
a chat box that's connected to with a concept with a link connected to ChatGPT. And in that program, they can put in a RAD coding, and what it does, it reduces the amount of hallucination, right?
Okay.
So instead of you asking a chat box to find a solution for this answer, um, and suppose the answer was within some health community health organizations or the health department.
Okay.
Well, what RAD would do would actually specifically target that website to get its information. It's not going to assume, it's not going to pull information from multiple areas, multiple sites. It's going to target what it needs so it can provide you with the highest level of accuracy and information without hallucinations. So it's more targeted. But
That's exactly. I want them to know, like, hallucination is exactly what it sounds like when But it's also good for fact checking too. So, look, if it's working properly, it can fact check anything. If you're having a hallucination, it's really a hallucination. It's not running correctly
mhm.
because it has bad information. It's thinking it's giving you the right information because it's pulling from sources as well. So if it's bad information out there on your business or on your company, it's giving you that. That's what it's giving you.
Yeah. It's so all GPT means generative pre-trained transformer. Uh, and the generative mean it generates information. The pre-trained mean it has to be trained, and there's a whole lot of hours. So documents are uploaded to it. Like if it's studying, if it's specialized for reading X-rays, pictures are uploaded to the actual LLM large language model, which is a chat box. Um, and then transformer is brain center, right? meaning it's designed to take in information, encode information, and decode information based on this concept called tokenization. So let me explain that. When you large language models, the technology does not read language like words, English words. It converts words to numbers, and those are called tokens. So one large hallucination may have two tokens associated with it, right? So when you buy a subscription to a proprietary technology, what you're paying for are the tokens. So it's a monetized concept. So when you type in, and it tokenizes based on two things, inputs and output. If you type in 10 words, there's a fee for those 10 words. If
What?
you, yes, if you type in, let's say this, if you type in 1,000 words or 1,000 characters, let's say characters, there's a fee of 1 cent for 1,000 characters.
Okay.
Once it gives you a response, which is longer than what you typed in, it's between 3 to 4 cents. So if you're paying $10 a month or $20 a month, every time you're searching, it's you're spending tokens. So these large language models have its own currency, and they're called tokens. And you're spending tokens. And let me explain. Tokens are directly associated with the amount of words you're using. One word one word could be one token, or one word could be two tokens.
Hmm.
So if you type in 10 words, you may be spending 20 tokens,
Right.
or you may be spending 10 tokens. So it's basically associated with the models because the models have to be monetized. That's how these large language model systems are making their billions of dollars through this thing called tokenization.
Prescription. So the prescriptions pay for the tokens. But what if
Yes.
you don't have a prescription? What if you like Chat GPT has a free version? How you able to get so much information without having to pay anything, right?
The free version comes with free tokens. But if you notice,
It
it,
cuts you off.
it'll cut you off. Okay,
I
so
cut
if
off
so,
last
so
week. I asked too many questions in a row, and it told me I had to wait 4 or 5 hours until the next time I can ask another question.
that's right. That's right. If you are using it on a free version, it would allow you to use so many tokens. Once you exceed those tokens, it's going to cut you off.
Right. It does cut you off. And I don't know if anybody's experienced that, but then I'm lost for 5 hours. I have to
Yeah,
go.
yeah, but remember, here's the thing. What is it when you? Why would they offer something free to society?
Yeah, of course. It's just like the epidemics that happened previous in life, give you the free and then you're gonna come back for more and more and more and more. That's really what goes on. But I have a couple of subscriptions. I just don't have one to chat. But I do use chat probably more than I use Copilot, because I have a
Uh,
subscription to Copilot. And I'm thinking about getting one to Grok just because of all the great things you say about Grok. But I got to see how much that is. If it's Elon Musk, it might be a lot.
And I don't even have a Grok account, but I just study it, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing: a free technology is what they're benefiting off the information. Every time your information helps to fine tune the technology.
Yeah, they're not
Every
doing it
time
for
you put
free.
information in, it's not. And here's the other piece: are owners of these chat box, these proprietary chat boxes, are they selling our data? We don't know that at this point. We
No.
know that Meta, Facebook was selling our data. We know that Instagram was selling our data. Uh, but we don't know, are there data packages that are being sold through these chat boxes at this point? We may know later on after Congress gets involved and give us the details. But at this point, the information that you're providing, remember now, all the information goes toward a storage source, a
Right.
memory storage source. If you don't have a subscription, they will only allow you to use it for so many tokens a day because they have to store it and it costs them money to store it. So your information that you're providing and my information, because I don't have a subscription as well, what's offsetting, what's making sure that we can have access for free is all the people who are paying for subscriptions.
Yeah. And who they're selling our information
and
to
who they're selling
and
information
what
to.
information are they selling. I don't have any personal information there, but they'll say, well, you have this guy at this weight, this height, this, because they're looking at it.
Yeah, yeah,
And this is what he likes. Then they'll find somebody else that likes the same thing I like. And so now we're grouped together. Now
that's
it's
right.
like when you go into Schnucks or your local grocery store, or anything like that, so many times they start to know the customer in the way that they shop. So they
It's
put
consumer spending behavior.
so they push all the stuff that they buy the most up front and push the stuff that they buy the least in the back. And that way you're picking up everything you want, then the things you might want, and then the things that you don't want. That's all the way in the back. But everything that you normally buy is up front so you can get to it faster.
They're selling profile consumer
House.
spending habits, right?
Yeah.
So if you and I are typing in information about Cadillac, you, me, and 4 or 5 other people in different states,
Hmm.
we will be grouped into some type of algorithm that's related to Cadillac. And if they decide to sell a data package to Cadillac dealership, then we will be grouped within that package. And all of a sudden, we start to see things on our social media feeds about Cadillacs.
Yeah, for some reason I don't have to type in Google no more. I could be on the phone with someone and say, "Yeah, I saw this Nissan Armada and it looked great." Now all of a sudden, all through my Facebook and my Instagram, my TikTok, I'm seeing Nissan commercials.
So here's the thing. So let me explain chat box. Chat boxes are text to text to text. That means that you type in some information, you get a text back. Or text to visual, you type in information, you get a visual back. Or text to voice, and the opposite, right? Text to voice means you type in something and it talks back to you. Or it's voice to voice, you say something to it and it says something back to you,
Right.
right? So if you communicate on the phone, you're dealing with more of a voice to voice component of technology where it's taking in information you're saying. And when you log into Facebook and things like that, you start to see things that you mentioned on a call and so forth.
So does that mean that our calls are being recorded at all times, or it's just picking up keywords? Like,
I can't really describe that.
is
It's
it
like
listening for the words? Like it has to be doing something because I can tell you it's been several times I haven't text typed nothing. I'm just on the phone and I'll say, I like that new Nissan Armada or I like that new Chevy Tahoe. And then all of a sudden, like in my algorithm, I would see these commercials, Chevy come 2026 or, it's just, it starts to get weird after a while. If you do it a few times and he's like, I didn't type that to anybody. I just talked to somebody about it.
I hear it often, but I don't know the details of it. Um, but it's definitely something to continue to explore and to continue to talk about because there's definitely a connection to it because I hear too many people say that I just talked about that on the phone and I saw it and it appeared in my feed on social media.
Because I just did this the other day, like literally the other day. How many times do it ask, are you allowing us to look at your pictures or look at this? And you just say yes, but you didn't read the whole thing. Because I say yes all the time just to get through it. Or, do you allow us to see your location? And so what if you go to the dealer and you look at the Armada, but you're not. You get what I'm saying? It's tracking your location. Like I didn't look it up. I went to the dealer to look at it. It's something to investigate there. And at some point, it all comes out. It always comes out that and people have accused Google of doing that on numerous occasions.
Mm-hmm. So let me add this, we talked about tokens a minute ago. Like, and I know last 3 podcasts we talked about AI agents. So
Hmm.
let me say this right here about AI agent as it relates to tokens and as it relates to chat boxes. All of it connects. If I develop an AI agent that does communications, and the AI agents communicates to 15 people in the organization Monday through Friday, as the AI agent is communicating, the AI agent is either connected, linked to a chat box, Chat GPT, Yammer, Claude, Grok, Gemini, whichever one is connected to, as it provides information that is searching for and provides us PDF document to our emails, as that agent is working, is spending your tokens.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have, and I need this for everybody who is creating AI agents, if you have AI agents, you have to continue to replenish your tokens, because as they work, if your subscription is $20 a month, if they spend, if they're doing work that exceeds $20 within 1 week, the agent will not be able to access that chat box until you pay for more tokens.
Right.
So if you have AI agents, because this is where we're going, you have to make sure that somebody is monitoring the spin of those tokens as these AI agents are working. They're just like employees. The difference is, and I've done this and I've seen the research, if an AI worker works for 5 days for 4 or 5 hours a day, it may cost the company 2 hours in comparison to a communication specialist who makes 60, 70, $80 an hour, which may cost a company 4 or 5 thousand.
Right.
There's a major difference, but it costs tokens to use these platforms, and the AI agents are spending those tokens as they work.
So let me ask you this: since we're talking about tokens, and it seems like you have a good idea of what's going on with them, what company provides the tokens? Is that something that you can invest in?
You know what?
That's fest time. Is that something you can invest in? Like
That man,
getting with the company that provides the tokens. Can we get an answer for the people next week on that?
I probably can. So let me say this right here. All of the large language models comes with tokens, meaning, and I don't know if there's an intersection or API that gives these chat boxes those tokens. Obviously, they're getting the tokens from somewhere. Now,
Yeah,
if you open up a, if you have a free version of ChatGPT, it may come with a replenishing 2,500 tokens. Every time you go exceed 2,500 tokens, it blocks you for 4 or 5 hours. So it's a replenishing 2,500 tokens, right?
yeah.
I don't know if there is a separate company that came up with this token concept, but I definitely will do some research and provide it to our listeners for next week.
And for you, the listeners, if you know, come in under here so we can get some research done on it and see how we can make this work for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Make money off of it. If there's a way to make money off of it, let's find a way. And then another thing I wanted to just jump into real quick is uh, now which one of the is it proprietary or non that you can or code your own AI?
So open source. So open source, like for some reason, Mark Zuckerberg has always been an open source guy. Now, when Facebook, when he did his initial IPO, initial public offering, then open sourcing wasn't the I mean, it became proprietary at that point. But Yammer, out of the top four, ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, and Yammer. Yammer is the only open source of the top four. So if you are a company and you wanted your own chat box, large language model system for your company, let's say you're Howard University, or let's say you're Harvard University, and you want the concentration information that's being searched and queried across the entire institution, from the students to the faculties to everybody to the staff. If you want to control that information and you want to fine tune, upload your own research data where you can control it instead of having people go out to Chat GPT and that information being saved on Chat GPT server. If you want to control it within your institution, you build your own chat boxes through open source technology. So you would choose Yammer as the large language model, or the LLM, to design and develop your own chat box for your own for controlling your intellectual capital.
And let's talk about LLM first. What does that mean?
Large
LLM.
large language model. So
All right.
all of these chat boxes are large language model. That's the I don't know what's that's the actual term.
Yes.
We may call them Chat GPT, Gemini, but the actual term is large language models. And these large language models have these chat boxes where you can actually do your search, your inquiries, right? Um, these large language models have to be trained, have to be developed, have to be fine tuned. And that's why they're so different, right? That's why Claude, as a large language model, focus on communication more so than anything. It's a text driven model. Chat GPT is multimodal, meaning does it accepts text, it accepts visual images, and it accepts audio, and it can you can design it where it's communicating. You can talk to it. Well, Claude doesn't have the audio component at this point. Not to say it won't be in the future, but at this point today, it doesn't.
Hmm. So if you, just to be clear, you can make basically your own chat GPT for your own company. And then can you use that as an open source for people and you get their information because you're the owner of it?
Yeah, yeah. Once you It's designed where you can actually, if you have different coders or within your company, can actually access it and start building your own large language model or chat box, and to control your intellectual capital. And you can allow others. You can offer it. You can take it and separate it and make your own proprietary technology, or you can leave it as an open source and where you control the information that's flowing
But
into
then
it.
when people log into yours, you'll learn their information.
You will be
They can,
gathering.
or they can sign up for a subscription
Yes,
to
yes,
your, and
to
that would be the
yours.
most likely outcome. So like if I wanted to make a LL for Canon Sales
Yeah,
Consulting, I
yeah.
have to load up my books and all the information and feed it information about Coach Emery Cannon. And then, man, that's amazing, isn't it?
I
That's
mean,
amazing. You can do
well, that's
that.
where we are today. But think about if you are Howard University, if you were to develop your own LLM using an open source model that already exists, and so you can fine tune it like Yama through Meta. Yama is a Meta product. Well, you can write policy within your institution that students, when they go to query information, that they should only use the institutional proprietary chat box for that. So you can build into your policy.
GPT.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be
that
Howard
would be
GPT.
awesome.
It'll be Howard GPT. So you can control it.
So just a business solution here, right? Uh, because we know they lost a lot of funding.
Mm-hmm.
So they can use this to gain back some of the funding that they
Yes,
lost.
yes,
As a business solution, it would be in their best interest to create their own chat box.
that's right.
And
That's right.
because they're a university, they already have the notoriety that they would need and just write the codes. And now you have a solution to the $3 million or $30 million that you
That was
lost from the administration.
from the administration. So just imagine all the PhDs, all the scientists, all the computer programmers at Howard universities, those who are they're presently and those who have graduated, the alumni, right? If they need information that came out of some of the research that came from Howard, and it's only saved on Howard servers within their own LLM and chat box. That
Mm-hmm.
means that if I need information based on the study that I heard at a conference, I went to a conference and I saw a Howard professor explaining some new innovative research. And the only way I can access it is through their chat box. That will be beneficial for Howard to create their own chat box and offer subscriptions as a solution to raise money and to grow as a business model.
Make sure you let Howard know that they owe me that hour there.
it's documented on here now. It's already recorded.
Yeah, and they haven't
It's
started
documented.
yet, so it's timestamps here.
So if they're ever thinking about it, they can come back to us and
Yeah.
talk about how do they start to developing their own chat box.
Yeah, and they can talk about, well, the two guys. So that's a good source of income for especially a school that lost funding to be able to uh, recoup some of that money.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally today, I wanted to go it's really kind of like going back, but we're moving forward with it because next week we're going to have a whole different thing. But I want, and I know you have it because I know you're prepared. I want to go over the different uh, chat boxes. Like for teachers, you already went over that one. But like college professors, obviously would be like
Grok.
Grok. But what
Mm-hmm.
about for the average guy or the average business owner? Just a list of them, and that's how we'll close it out today. It's just look. These are the better. You're not better than Chat GPT, but other things that will help you become great in whatever it is you do.
Okay, so for the computer scientists, the young entry level computer scientists, if you're trying to develop codes for Python or Java or anything like that, Gemini is a great application, a great chat bot to assist you, augment your skills in coding, right? Uh, as well as Grok technology. If you are a researcher, if you are an educator, uh, if you're looking to develop curriculum and content like that, Claude would be the best bet for that. It's tech driven. I mean, it's text driven. But if you're trying to do more deep level research, then Grok technology is the best solution for you. Grok
So
technology.
curriculum, but curriculum wise, let's say a kindergarten teacher all the way up to uh, high school.
Okay.
Would that be depending on obviously culture, but that one will be the best one versus Grok. It
Yeah.
can help
Yeah.
the curriculum.
Claude is definitely specifically for effective high levels of communication, and as it relates to developing curriculum and syllabus, things like a syllabi. Yeah, Claude would be the go to for that. If you're doing research, scientific research, Grok would be the go to technology for you.
Yes.
Medical professionals, higher ed institution, researchers in academic medical institution, Grok would be the best thing for for you. For the general person, ChatGPT it covers everything.
Hmm.
It covers text. It covers visuals. It covers audio, and it has a high level of capability because, like Sam Altman said, ChatGPT 5 actually provides high level of reasoning like Grok 4.0. So you can stick with ChatGPT. You know, if you're just going out there seeking for real quick information, even at the highest level of intelligence,
Yeah.
GPT will be able to provide information solution.
What about like marketers? What would be best for marketers and anybody in the marketing fields or sales fields? What would be best for them, you think?
So we can go back to Claude again, because it's all built around communication, and marketing is a part of communication. But then you have others open source concepts, but in like DeepSeek. Uh, DeepSeek is more of a Chinese version, and a lot of Americans, there was talk about we shouldn't be using DeepSeek, right? Um, uh, okay, think about this. So DeepSeek is an open source, meaning that you can build your own LLM and chat box through DeepSeek. But according
Yeah,
to, huh?
you can.
Yes, but according to our administration, they don't know how much is that data is being housed in China, and what are they doing with the data. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So they encourage us or discourage us not to use it.
Yeah, it says it's national security concerns.
Yeah.
It says it's going to be banned by the federal government here soon.
Yeah. So it's in the same bucket as TikTok at this point.
Yeah, and I like TikTok. I I've sold a lot of books off of TikTok. I don't agree with the TikTok ban.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Because remember now, all of these technology solutions, these chat boxes, and even these TikToks, remember that all of the data is stored on the company's servers. If
yeah,
those servers are not within the geography of the United States, and they're in a whole different country,
they can't control it.
they can't control it.
Yeah.
So that's the risk. That's why they consider it a national security risk.
Well, how would they know?
We can't, because so that's how our current administration approaches it. Like, oh, because when DeepSeek came out, it came out earlier middle last year. Um, there was as many users in the United States that was using and signing on and downloading DeepSeek as they were Chat GPT, and it became a concern.
Because they couldn't control it.
They couldn't control the data. What are we searching for? What are we asking this chat box? And where is the data stored? We don't control the data.
When you look this one up, it doesn't give you the AI anything to ask it to look at more. I think it's pretty interesting. So it really is some concern there because it doesn't give you anything past that. It's pretty interesting.
So yeah, yeah. But yeah, we don't have to get into the detail and specifics, but if you are professionally, you need to do more research on which model of an LLM or chat box best fits your profession.
What about like a healthcare system?
From a healthcare perspective, I think Grok, I would lean toward Grok.
Mm-hmm.
If healthcare is trying to communicate effective messages, I would say use Claude for that. But if you're trying to do anything related to reasoning and research from a healthcare perspective, patient care, academic medicine, Grok would be the go to. Now, here's the thing, there's a term called temperature. Within all large language models or chat boxes, uh, there is a component called temperature, named temperature, in which they can use to determine how it responds. It can have a more aggressive tone if it has a high temperature,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a lower temperature, it has a more fun tone. So according to Elon Musk, Grok has a more humorous tone to it when it responds to you. Even though it's giving you highly complex information, the temperature is set where it has a more humorous response. So yeah, there's a concept called temperature, and you can turn it up or you can turn it down. Some chat boxes may feel like it's being smart when it responds to you based on things you're asking it.
Yeah.
That is due to the temperature gauge.
And so, like, maybe an entrepreneur will use the Crew AI, right? Or there's another one that's recommended, Agent AI. It's the
Yes.
number one professional network for AI agents.
So AI agents. So let me say this: if to use Crew AI or any AI agent platform, you have to have some understanding of coding.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
You can't just go in there and start working with Crew AI and have it do everything for your business. You got to know how to code.
Because you're creating your agents. So Crew AI will give you templates on what needs. So every agent has a structure, right? So an agent has to have a title, it has to have a goal, a background. Then you have to give agents task. So the task is based on description and expectation. This is a template model I'm sharing. And then you have to give it a tool, what type of tool you want it to use. So that is the same. So you can copy and paste information into Crew AI from using a template model. But once you build out your crew, you have to take your crew and connect it to a Python coding method. And if you don't have, yeah, so once you build your crew and create Crew AI, you got to integrate it with Python. And if
Hmm.
you don't have a tech background, it will be challenging to even do it. So, um, but if to augment your skill as a corporate leader, director level leader in corporate, I would recommend that you learn how to develop crews and you learn some elementary versions of Python coding.
So they
To,
can go to, what's the name of that course they can take on, and where can they find that at?
there's a concept called deep learning, a school, online school, deep learning, uh, that offers crew AI education, uh, pre-recorded videos and different lessons. In those lessons, they also share, if you get stuck on coding, they'll tell you to go to a Gemini and ask Gemini what is the right coding for this, right? So
You can just start out doing that though, couldn't
it
you?
shows you how to do it, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and then you have Coursera if you want to really. So
That's
uh,
only 10, 15, $20 though. Like that's probably the best way to go, right?
yeah, Coursera is both of them. Deep learning is like 15-20 bucks for a class from
Yeah.
highly from some of the well-known institutions.
Hmm.
Uh, so Coursera and I think deep learning is a Coursera partnership because the way I access deep learning, I was taking a Coursera course and I saw QAI and I clicked on it. The
Hmm.
platform looks different, but it was embedded into Coursera.
Mm. So they can do it either way then.
They can
They
do
can
it either
get
way.
to it either way.
If you're trying to be a competitive leader today in the AI economy, you can take another step forward and learn elementary Python coding to build our crews and agents using crew AI, and it would take you to another level and increase your value in corporate America.
Gotcha. So I think we did it today.
Okay.
And we'll be back next week. Um, this this podcast was uh, the sales process workbook. It's out available on Amazon today. If you need help with sales, this book right here is very informative and very interactive in helping you with your sales journey. And you can get the bundle package right here of how that workbook was even created, because it's not rocket science, it's sales. Also
Yeah.
available on Amazon today.
Yeah. And I second that. Those are great books.
Thank you.
I actually have the workbook, so I know it's a great book. And if you're into sales, it can definitely help to augment your skill in that specific area.
Thank you so much. And we will be back next week with some more. I mean, I love this podcast, man. I mean, we're giving out a lot of information.
Yeah, yeah,
And, feel free to go to allthingsstrategic.org
that's right.
and canonsalestraining.com if you want to meet with us personally for an individual consultation. Our first consultation is free, doesn't cost you anything. And then after that, we'll determine where we can take you and how far we can take you into the sun, because we're
That's
all
right.
going to shine
That's right.
together.
All right.
Hopefully, Invest Fest went well for people. I went to a great leadership conference, Lead Loud with Mick Hunt, and it was amazing. Met some amazing people, and we'll talk more about that next week once my mind processes everything
All
that.
the information. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. I definitely want to hear more about your experience and what did you learn and what was your takeaways?
Yes, and so I'm going to go over there. It was a lot to take in.
Okay.
It was some amazing speakers there, and I want to tell you what each individual I learned from them. I wish I could have made Invest Fest too, but it wasn't in the cards. We had to get back here and we had to get back to work. So next year I am in Invest Fest. I'm going to buy my tickets the minute that they go on sale because I want to be there.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and also, you got anything else?
No, no. I'll just second that. The Invest Fest. It seems like I've been watching it for like 2 years now, and it has grown exponentially. So I'm like you. Once the tickets go on sale, I would definitely purchase mine. And anybody else, if you are an entrepreneur,
Yes.
uh, that's the opportunity. But I want to make this plug. So I also do work with Goldman Sachs, and we travel to different cities. and the program is free. So if you are an entrepreneur, you need to keep an eye out on Goldman Sachs 10K, 10,000 small business programs as we go travel the country and we train and educate you on this information. When it comes to artificial intelligence, we'll be training and educating you on that. So just go to the Goldman Sachs website. In September, we start a uh, Arkansas cohort in September, where we have over 35 small business owners in Arkansas that's going through the program. And in January, we will be in Missouri.
Really?
So we'll
Oh
be in
man.
Missouri. We'll be, I don't know which small rural community, but it will consist of St. Louis. So we travel the country. Please, please, this is a free program, and we pay for all your expenses to travel.
You hear that? They're paying for all the expenses. I highly recommend it. I know a lot of business leaders here in the community that's taking your course and
Mm-hmm.
are doing very, very, very well. So if you're watching this, look it up. He's great. I'm telling you, he's all things strategic.
So Goldman Sachs 10K, which means 10,000 small business program. Google it, find it, and see if there's a program coming to your city. And if you can, take the time out. It's a 10-week program. Take the time out and actually apply for that program.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see you next week with another episode, and we'll be just as surprised as you as what we're going to talk about because we just love having the conversation at this point. Like, it's a good conversation. Thanks, Mario, for coming out again. I really appreciate you.
Always, always. Thank you.
And as I always do, bye for now.